Yo, what up, everybody? This is your boy Sharaf again. Welcome back to another episode of Disruptive Investing Channel, where we discuss and compare companies involved in disruptive technologies. Today, we are going to be talking about cybersecurity. Cybersecurity in the modern world is a disruptive technology that can fundamentally change the way organizations operate and protect their assets. Cybersecurity has always been important, but now, with every sector of the economy rapidly adopting cloud computing, and effective cybersecurity software has become an absolute necessity. Cybersecurity technologies such as advanced threat detection and response system can disrupt traditional security models by providing a more comprehensive and proactive protection against cyber threats. In today's episode, we will be looking at two leading cybersecurity companies, Palo Alto Networks, ticker symbol PANW, and CrowdStrike, ticker symbol CRWD. While both companies had a rough 2022, and as can be seen here, they are both down significantly from their 52 weeks high. However, between the two companies, CrowdStrike took a much bigger hit, down 57% compared to 34% for Palo Alto Networks at the time of the filming of this video. I think both these companies present a very solid investment opportunity, given the fact that both companies are down significantly and cybersecurity industry is poised to experience rapid growth as the world and the economies around the world are becoming more digital by the day. In this video, we'll try to dive a little deeper to see which one of these two companies offer a better combination of growth and valuation, and in turn, a better investment opportunity. But before we begin, here goes the usual disclaimer. See, I'm not a financial advisor, so use this video as a guide to do your own due diligence and research before investing, especially in this market where anything can happen. Before we start looking into these companies, one of the questions to ask ourselves is to why invest in cybersecurity industry in first place. Well, the crux of the matter is, as the digital economy grows, digital crime grows with it. Soaring number of online and mobile interactions are creating millions of attack opportunities for hackers and rogue agents. Many lead to data breaches and that threaten both people and businesses. At the current rate of growth, damage from cyber attacks will amount to approximately $10.5 trillion annually by 2025, a 300% increase from the threat levels of 2015. So therefore, at the end of the day, these are the cybersecurity companies, including Palo Alto and CrowdStrike, which will be at the forefront of the defense against these cyber attacks. As it can be seen from the chart source from McKinsey, the total addressable market for cybersecurity is around 2 trillion, whereas currently captured market was only around $150 billion. Therefore, there is a gap of around $1.5 trillion, which presents an exciting opportunities for growth for companies like CrowdStrike and Palo Alto Networks. Also, before we try to make sense of financial, let's try to understand the business of these companies by doing a quick comparison. Both companies offer cybersecurity solutions such as firewall, intrusion prevention system, and endpoint protection. However, compared to CrowdStrike, Palo Alto Networks offer a much wide range of other security products such as VPN, threat intelligence, and crowd security solutions, while CrowdStrike, on the other hand, focuses primarily on providing a cloud-based endpoint protection. In simpler terms, Palo Alto focuses on firewall protection, which is the first line of defense, typically placed at the boundary of a network, such as at the point where a private network connects to the internet. Endpoint protection, which CrowdStrike specializes in, refers to the protection of individual devices, such as computer, laptop, and mobile devices that are connected to a network. Both companies cater to enterprise customers, but Palo Alto Network has a slight edge over CrowdStrike as it has a broader focus and serves a larger and a more diverse customer base. Palo Alto's customer base includes the top 10 of the Fortune 500 companies, as well as the top other government, healthcare, and finance companies. On the other hand, CrowdStrike's high-profile customers includes the like of Deloitte, Goldman Sachs, and Verizon. We will start looking at the financial of these companies by first looking at their market cap. And you can see Palo Alto is a slightly larger company with a market cap of $43 billion compared to CrowdStrike market cap of only 26 billion US dollars. Next, let's investigate the price to sales ratio, which reflects company's overall revenue compared to its price. And as is in the most cases of these financial ratios, the lower is always better. Therefore, as you can see from the numbers, Palo Alto performs much better than CrowdStrike when it comes to the revenue relative to its price. On the earnings front, both companies are not profitable at this moment on trailing 12 months basis. So we have to look at the future PE ratio. And once again, Palo Alto represents a better earning and profit potential compared to CrowdStrike relative to its stock price. So in summary, if we base our assessment purely on company's valuation, then Palo Alto is a much better company. However, before we come to any conclusion, Let's also consider their growth potential. Firstly, for CrowdStrike, the revenue grew from 250 million US dollar in 2019 to 1.5 billion US dollar in 2020, representing an overall growth of staggering 480% and an average annual growth rate of 160%. In comparison, if you look at Palo Alto's growth over the same 3-year period, it was 89%, which represent an annual average rate of approximately 30%, which, although impressive on one hand, seems relatively modest compared to CrowdStrike. Therefore, in this comparison, CrowdStrike easily triumphs over Palo Alto's numbers in terms of growth. If we glance over the two companies' earning report over the most recent quarter, a familiar narrative is being played out where we see CrowdStrike growing at a much faster pace while Palo Alto is marching towards the path of profitability. For the most recent reporting quarter, we saw quarter-over-quarter growth at an exceptional rate of 66%, whereas Palo Alto's quarter-over-quarter growth for most recent quarter was barely over 1%. This illustrates the enormous gap between the growth of the two companies. However, on the flip side, we see the quarter-over-quarter operating expense for Palo Alto increased only by 6%, while the operating expense for CrowdStrike was consistent with its revenue growth, therefore an increase of 64%. This translates to an operating income growth for Palo Alto down by 1% over last quarter, whereas CrowdStrike operating loss kept growing to 142 million US dollars, up from 92 million US dollars from last quarter. The biggest culprit of this can be attributed to the selling, general, and administrative expenses, which went up from 522 million to 839 million. And this is not a good sign for CrowdStrike, and its management needs to work harder to rein in their overhead and administrative costs. Otherwise, the company will have a much harder time to profitability. All of this can be summarized through the analysis of net income of two companies. Again, we see over the past 2 quarters, Palo Alto is already becoming profitable, and on top of that, their net income grew from 3 million to 20 million, representing a quarter-over-quarter growth of net income of 505%, which is phenomenal. Unfortunately for CrowdStrike, the story is in complete contrast, where they not only keep losing money, but they're also losing money at a much faster rate, where they went from making a loss of 92 million in the previous quarter to 234 million this quarter, representing an increase of quarter-over-quarter losses at 153%, which is actually higher than their revenue growth of 66%. This is not a very good sign from investors' point of view, as the growth is coming at a very high price. Lastly, if we quickly glance over the cash flow statement of the two companies over the most recent quarter, we can see that both companies are cash flow positive, which is a positive sign for both companies. But in a relative comparison, Palo Alto clearly triumphs over CrowdStrike, as Palo Alto free cash flow is over 1.2 billion compared to CrowdStrike free cash flow of only 174 million. So in conclusion, I would say both CrowdStrike and Palo Alto are both great cybersecurity companies, and they both should benefit from the growth of the cybersecurity industry in the coming years and decades. However, it is very interesting to note that their advantages and disadvantages are complete in contrast to one another. CrowdStrike is growing its revenue at a phenomenal rate, and it overshadows Palo Alto growth, which seems relatively modest in comparison to CrowdStrike. However, on the flip side, the financials of Palo Alto are much stronger. It has a much clearer path towards profitability, being already profitable in the previous 2 quarters and heading towards even greater profitability, whereas CrowdStrike continued to lose income at a consistent rate. So personally for me, I prefer the stability of Palo Alto, and I feel that there's a possibility of more accelerated growth coming in the near future, taking advantage of overall growth of the cybersecurity industry. So if I had to choose between Palo Alto and CrowdStrike, I would definitely go with Palo Alto. However, if you have a higher appetite for risk, I think you can still go with CrowdStrike, and the stock may actually see a higher return on investment, provided that management rein in some of their higher operating and overhead costs and it continues to grow at a current rate. And with that being said, that pretty much concludes the video. I hope you enjoyed the video and found some value in this video. Again, if you disagreed with any of my analysis or have a different viewpoint, please share it in the comment section. And also the very last thing, please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel so that I can keep making more of these videos. So with that being said, I'm going to sign out with the hope of seeing you in my next video. Thank you very much. Peace out.